Hello, Gautam. Hello.
Hello, hello, Guruji.
Yes, Gautam, the objective is not to reach a conclusion about the Titan submersible.
Okay,
It is about collecting facts because we have to first get all the facts, right?
okay,
So within the facts, as we collect the facts, we will try to see which planet is dominating and if possible, because I don't know when the exact, whatever they call it as implosion
hmm,
happened.
okay,
At least we have the, maybe perhaps if you search for starting time,
hmm,
when did the expedition start?
yeah,
Then if we get some clues about names of people involved,
hmm,
and see which planet is dominated, because these are the things. But this will be more fact collecting meeting. Okay,
got it.
so please
Hmm,
encourage everybody to uh, you know type it out in the chat if there's any copy paste where this link explains it all. Maybe
hmm,
this is more reliable information.
got it.
So try to
Hmm,
come to a conclusion. Then we'll have a separate meeting to analyze the horoscope itself. But in case something comes up, even today, we can generate the horoscope and get some clues.
hmm,
Okay. My guess
okay,
is Saturn must be involved or Moon must be involved. Okay, something like that.
yeah,
Uh,
understood.
yeah, because like that. And if please allow everybody to contribute their points.
Hmm,
Um, to each of them, you give, like basically allow everybody to contribute. Okay.
okay,
Yeah. Right now, I'm actually doing it. I'm recording it, but I'll also
all right,
make you the co-host. Okay.
okay. Hello, everyone. So, in this meeting today, we will be discussing about the Titan sub implosion. So, we don't have a chart yet, so we have to find out one based on parts. Like, when did the journey begin? When did the connection lost? So most probably the implosion happened at the same time when the connections to the comms were lost. So I need everyone to find those about in the internet, the real facts, maybe from multiple sources, preferably. Then we can check the chart one by one and uh, narrow in the most possible timings.
So I now request Deepika to start by rolling out some facts, and others can also start um, contributing in an interactive session. Please give time to everyone. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, right. Done.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'm having a technical error. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Is there any record of what time the journey began? Because we don't have the time of the actual event, the implosion. Um, at least that's what they think, right? So whatever happened, we don't have any exact time. We have, I think, it was reported sometime, all that we have. But when did the journey begin? Is there anything like that? Any information on that? And what is the latitude and longitude of the actual Titanic wreck? So as and when you find facts, you can copy paste the information in the chat.
Okay, Guruji.
Sir, regarding this Titanic sank, it is in the North Atlantic Ocean, and there the GMT is -4. So how we are going to put that into the software Because -4, this
You have to
Jagannath Pura is not taking.
you have to first locate the latitude longitude, and then even if it doesn't adjust automatically because there is no land there, you have to feed in the GMT manually. Okay.
But sir, it's not taking. Yeah, so it's taking integer only. It's taking the negative
No.
sign.
Yeah, you can when next to that time zone you can see that standard time, east of GMT or west of GMT. See that? I will share the screen. This one.
Jagannath Pura, maybe someone will help me.
Yeah. Can you see this? I'm sharing the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can actually start with a rough date if you want. Rough date and time, simply like that, just to experiment.
Okay. So if it's GMT minus, you can give west of GMT. If it's plus, then east of GMT. That's all.
Okay, this is like GMT -4 of West. So
Okay, so then, yeah, west of GMT.
Yes, working. எல்லாமே எனக்கு தடங்கலாங்க.
In this Wikipedia page, we can see the exact location in the map. I'll send the link of this in the chat.
Gautam, can you make me the host?
Yeah, sure. No, I can't. Only the host can do that. I am only co-host. So
Yeah.
you have to ask me to do.
Gautam, I have permitted people to share the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But try to confirm some facts, okay, without any,
Yeah.
maybe try to reach it to an undisputed point, okay?
Yes, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page now.
Okay. And try to save some horoscope form, maybe this time, maybe that time, and
Okay.
just have a look at the horoscope.
Okay.
Is anybody able to see my screen? Or is anybody able to see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. 2 minutes of silence for the departed souls. I'm sure all of you are well aware of the recent. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I hope all of you are well aware of the recent tragedy that the 5 people who are actually wanting to be adventurers and explorers but ended up as victims. CEO of Ocean Time, Stockton Rush, Hamish Harding, Paul Henry, Shahzada Dawood and Suleiman Dawood, father and son. So we pray for their families who are at a greater loss. Well, the thing is, though they may have had a lot of money, for the love of Titanic, they wanted to explore it on their own. And I had an information that James Cameron had himself gone to the Titanic, wreck, the area of Titanic, which is submerged on the ocean floor 33 times. And he has always used a submarine, which is not like what these 5 people had used. A submarine is a very large vessel, and he, along with the others, had invested in $42 million for the project. And to get the submarine certified, it took almost a year. So the point I'm trying to make is these 5 people wanted at a very low cost, that is, I think 2 million and odd, and their sub was not did not meet the requirements, and it had the CEO was hell-bent on breaking all the rules. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, in exploring the ocean floor, you need a lot of patience. You need to wait a lot, because it is something very deep. And these 5 people, had risked their own lives by not being patient. And they wanted to explore Titanic in a hurried way. So this is what I feel. And I had created this slide on 26th, that is today. So that's another thing. The main purpose for creating this slideshow is, I had drawn some uncanny, unbelievable parallels between Titanic and Titan. The Titan, which was named, because of, they were so excited about Titanic, so they named this sub as Titan. So does anybody know what Titan means? Does anybody know what Titan means? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but yeah, I have no idea of what Titan meaning is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So does anybody know the meaning of Titanic or Titan?
Strong. Titan is generally you refer to elephants also, strong elephants.
Strong. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So the word Titanic and Titan is taken from the Greek word which means strong. So do you find anything odd with that word and the ship that is linked with it? Does anybody find anything odd? The word
This is a small
Titan?
submersible.
Yeah,
This is very
exactly.
small. Yeah. Yeah. The size and name doesn't match.
Exactly. But the thing is, Titanic, which means very strong. That is a positive attitude. But what they had, the captain and the other people, when the ship was built, they had called it unsinkable. Do you remember? They called it unsinkable. That is the negative form of the word strong. The word strong is positive, yeah, that's okay. But the negative portrayal of the word Titanic is unsinkable, which means it cannot sink. Am I right?
Yes, Deepika.
Yeah. So that exactly was copied by CEO Stockton Rush. He wanted to mimic the word Titanic and called his sub as Titan, which is also the same. At the end of the session, I'll be showing a video about him talking about the same way the Titanic people, the captain and the one who designed it, and John Jacob Astor, about the way they talk so highly about Titanic. It is the same exact way Stockton Rush had described about his sub. So this is the first similarity that I wanted to bring across.
Three things that
So anybody wants to add anything to it?
Yeah, one point I just want to note down that one of the passengers whose name starts with P. So P and F are related to the linked to the Saturn. So I just wanna note that point.
Whose name, sir?
I'm sorry, I didn't note down. But the name
Paul? Paul
yeah,
Henry.
Paul. Yeah, it starts with P. So we just remember the name. Because P and F are related to Saturn planet. So something, as Guruji said, it might be related to P and,
Correct,
water and
sir,
Saturn.
correct. Paul
Yeah.
Henry was supposed to be called as the Titanic man. So that's the,
Titanic was
the
destined.
sad part, that he was called as the Titanic man, Paul Henry. So shall I move to the next next piece of information? Can I move to the next piece of information? Does anybody know about the mothership of the Titan sub? Does anybody know the name? Hello? Okay. Can I tell the name? Can I tell the name?
Sure. Yeah,
of
sure,
the,
sure.
Yeah. The name of the mothership which had the Titan sub is named as Polar Prince. So I'm repeating again. Polar Prince, which is again a Saturn.
Yeah, P word. Yeah.
Which is again a Saturn dominated name, starts with the word P. Please make a note. Starts with the word double P. Polar Prince. Am I right?
Yes, Deepika. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Polar Prince. The Canadian research ship, that is the Polar Prince, which lost contact with the Titan submersible, returned to Newfoundland on Saturday. Please make a note, Saturday, which is again the day of Saturn, with the flags at half-mast. So do you find anything related to the planet Saturn? Hello?
Yeah, it is Saturn event. That's
Yeah.
what you meant. Yeah.
The Polar Prince came on Saturday with flags. So Saturday is the day dedicated to Saturn, and flags, which is again the word F, starting with the word F, which again means Saturn. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And does anyone know how the sub, the smaller sub, the Titan sub, was controlled with? Does anybody know how they operated the Titanic sub?
No, we don't.
Okay. I'll tell you the fact. So as when the sub went missing, they showed a series of reasons, but many were focusing only on one fact, that the entire sub is been piloted with a slightly modified Logitech GF710 wireless gamepad. So I'm repeating the name of the joystick, GF710. Does anybody have a link to this, letter and
Number
numbers?
8.
Yeah, the
Number
letter
8
and the
Saturn.
number. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
the letter F and the number 710, which again adds to 8. Am I right? So what does the word, the number 8 means?
It is Saturn number.
Saturn number.
Exactly. It is a Saturn number. Correct. So Logitech GF710, which means letter F and 71, which adds to 8. Correct? Anybody wants to add anything to this? There's one more point that I missed. The entire joystick was controlled by a Bluetooth. So, is
Saturn's
that
color.
Sorry?
Color of Saturn?
Exactly. Very good. It is the color of Saturn. And it was a Bluetooth device. And can I show you the video of that? They explain, the CEO explains, the CEO himself explains. You want to watch the video?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Stockton Rush.
Can you see the slide? Is everyone
Yes,
able to see
Deepika.
the slide?
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm the CEO and founder of OceanGate. Let's take a look at Titan. So we're coming into the sub. This is the only toilet available on a deep diving submersible. Best seat in the house. You can look out the viewport. We put a privacy screen in, turn up the music, and it's very popular. We have our control screen here, our sonar screen here, and we can put any image we want in the back. Taking a completely new approach to the sub design, and it's all run with this game controller and these touch screens. So if you want to go forward, you press forward. If you want to go back, you go back, turn left, turn right, go down, go up. And it's Bluetooth, so I can hand it to anybody. And it's meant for a 16-year-old to throw it around, and super durable. We keep a couple of spares on board just in case. This is the second year we've been out to the Titanic. We went out in 5 8-day missions. We did about 10 dives to the wreck site of the Titanic, and we did an extra dive on an undiscovered reef that we found. It's completely privately funded operation, and we're funded by, we call mission specialists who help support the mission. So they take quite a bit of money to come and join us. Years ago, the Russians took tourists out to.
So that's Mr. Stockton Rush, founder and CEO of OceanGate. And one more thing that I missed to tell about is this controller was worth $40. It was worth $40, which is exactly half of 8. So anybody wants to add something to this? Anybody wants to add something to this?
No, Deepika, carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, now that we started about talking about the sub, I want to talk about the subs components and the composition. Okay. It is said that the sub, the exit hatch, that is the sub is made of only one entry and exit hatch. That is the only way you can enter and exit. So that is sealed with the 17 bolts from the outside. Okay. I'm repeating myself. The exit hatch is sealed with 17 bolts from the outside. So again, 1 plus 7 is 8. And one more point to add to this sub can only reach a maximum depth of 4,000 meters which is again half of 8. So I'd like to show you a video on how they explain about these 17 bolts. It's very uncanny and very unbelievable that it had to be only 17 bolts. So I'll just show you the video.
Stop. Three things that make this submarine Titanic story really scary. The only submarine that can take tourists to the Titanic has
Is everyone able to see the slideshow?
Yes, we can.
touch with its mothership. Passengers paid around $250,000 for the expedition. Now they only have around 50 hours of oxygen left. You have to sign a waiver even before you get on the expedition that has a list of every different way a person can die on the expedition. But that's not even the worst thing. Number one, the submarine has 7 different mechanisms for it to return to the surface. If it is not at the surface, it's at the bottom of the ocean. It's either stuck somewhere 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers down at the bottom of the ocean, or there was a leak and it might have imploded. Number two, the exit hatch is sealed with 17 bolts from the outside. So there is no way to escape without external help. And finally, number 3, and this is the worst one. There are only 3 submarines in the world that can go to those depths. And experts say that even if they find the submarine down there somewhere, it would be almost impossible to bring it up.
Anybody wants to add anything to this? Any Saturn relation, or maybe you can say that there were only, I think, 7 mechanisms, right? But that's one number less than 8. So there was only 7 mechanisms of escape for this sub. And it can actually go up to a depth of 4,000 meters. That's the maximum depth that this Titan can go. Correct? Does anybody want to add something?
Yes.
Prakash Palanisamy says Titan is one of Saturn's moon. Is that correct? And the point is given by Prakash Palanisamy. Okay, his name starts with a pra.
Yes, Guruji. Yes, Guruji. I googled it and it came up like that.
Yeah, very nice.
It's in Greek mythology.
Oh, Saturn's moon. Okay.
So what does the word name Titanic mean, which I started off? It is derived from the word, the Greek mythology, which means race of powerful deities or anything related to large or strong. Am I right?
Yes.
So what did we talk about? We spoke about John Jacob Astor, the richest man in the ship, saying that Titanic was unsinkable. So large or strong is a positive trait and unsinkable is a negative trait. Am I right? Can you hear me?
Yes,
you're right.
Yeah. And one more thing that I would like to add, the Titanic ship.
I think what you wanted to say was mentioning it as unsinkable is a negative trait because it is relating to pride. That's what you wanted to communicate, I think, right? When you say you can't sink me, you cannot do that to me.
Correct,
I'm so strong.
Yeah.
I'm so big.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what she said. But the word itself is not, when you say unsinkable.
Itself is not.
Itself
is not bad, but
it's
in
bad.
the context.
But in the context, because when the people, what do you call that, boarded the ship, most of them were continuously telling, do you know this is an unsinkable ship? Okay, so the unsinkable, and that kind of gives you a lot of pride. So even when they booked the ticket, they were telling their neighbors, we are going into the, we are going to travel. So it's actually pride based. Okay, pra sound, pride based. And I think there is a record that the engineer said, Even if God thinks he cannot sink this ship. Correct?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah. Even if God thinks God cannot sink this ship. Okay. So something like that. It's impossible to do it. But we don't know how exactly what happened. It's still a mystery. Whether the iceberg did it or an explosion did it, and so on. That we do not know. And if you think others have some, anyone else wants to contribute anything, like, do we have any record on what date it began, the journey began, and do we have a chart on that day? Even without the lagna, at least the moon chart might help us a lot. Okay. So I think even here in this, I think Deepika will continue from here because she has collected some details.
Like what he has told, there are two theories which actually talks about the unsinkable Titanic. So the first theory is the iceberg, which again, the form of ice is also related to Saturn, which is nothing but freezing, cold. And the word freezing starts with the letter F. So this is one theory. And the second theory, according to the survivors, the Titanic survivors, they had documented that there was nothing like an iceberg which is found, but a huge fire or an explosion that happened in the middle of the ship. So the word fire again contributes to the, the connection between Saturn, and fire starts with the letter F. So there
additionally, whenever F or P connects to the letter R and make it like a pra or a fra, it becomes very strong in terms of its devastating effects. Okay. So that is something very important. So even when you say generally in the mortuary, there's so much of freezing of the dead body. So freezing. And I think they also mentioned that most of the death happened because of the freezing water. Okay, so it was more about that, the freezing also. So that's very interesting point. The FR connection and the PR connection, the pride and the, the fire. So I don't know which one, whatever did that. Meanwhile, I think Alina has given us a very vital information. Can somebody use this to create a chart? She says the dive operation began on 18th June at 9:30 Newfoundland daylight time. And it's, I think, now what you'll have to do is you'll have to get the latitude, longitude of roughly where the Titanic, right now rests at the bottom of the ocean. Is there something like that? Because obviously they know the latitude and longitude. Without that,
I've got it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So if you head to the Google Maps or the Google Earth, and if you type in Titanic coordinates, you will be getting 41.7325 north and 49.9469 west. This is the closest that I've got. If anybody wants to add to this, they can, So if you type in the following coordinates, you can see where the Titanic wreck is resting currently on Google Earth. So anybody wants to add anything? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear Deepika.
I hope that the coordinates which I've collected is right, because I checked it myself and it showed the Titanic wreck. So maybe this coordinate could help us to understand more about the connection between Saturn and Titanic. And like what I was talking about, the original name of the ship was RMS Titanic. and it was a British passenger liner, which is again a passenger. The word pa is very dominant here, correct? And it was operated by the White Star Line, Star, which could also have some connection. And again, the date, I'm not really sure about the date, because the research and the data which I have collected, it might be 1 or 2 days away or something like that, because we're not really sure, because when they started giving the distress calls, it could be 1 day or 2 days earlier or ahead of the April 15th, which could make it April 17th. So I'm not sure about that. If anybody wants to add to this fact, you can. Okay. Now I'm continuing to the main point, to the depth where RMS Titanic is now currently resting. So the Titanic is sitting on the ocean floor about 12,500 feet below sea level. Please note down the number 12,500 is again.
Adds up to 8.
Exactly, correct. Very good. So now there are 2 broken parts of the ship, the bow and the stern, and they are more than, can you read that? 2,600 feet apart. Is
Yeah,
it right?
26 again.
Exactly. So it is a Saturn-dominated wreck, and I really pray for the souls who have lost their lives some years back. So all these data which I collected is actually unbelievable, but it is true. So does
here,
anybody want to add? Yeah.
So here, Alina has given us, is this confirmed, Alina? The dive operation began. But let's say a simple method would be just to feed in the latitude, longitude and use 12 UTC, right? 12 UTC, because UTC actually happens on the Greenwich meridian. So most of the softwares are only, not most, all the softwares are actually using Greenwich. And that's why we are forced to feed in that India is 5.5 hours ahead of GMT. So it's only with reference to the UTC. Okay. So feeding the latitude, longitude, if you enter 12 o'clock and then make it like there is no GMT correction to it, the software should automatically adjust. Are you able to understand this? The coordinates, you feed in the coordinates, and the problem is it is 41.73. In the Latlon, if it allows you to enter latitude itself as 41.73, it will be great. Otherwise, you'll have to use a calculator and convert 0.73 into minutes of the arc, right? So it will be like 0.73 into 60, and then you'll have to do that. Then say, since there is a question about what is a GMT, use 12 o'clock UTC, if that is dependable. Okay. If anything else, any other information you have, and you arrive at the same horoscope, all fine. So today's, we should, thank Deepika for having.
No. I have some more. I have not finished. I have some more.
You have some more. Is it okay?
Yeah. Now let's talk about the depth at which the Titanic and the Titan sank. And now we'll be looking at a very astonishing fact. Okay. What happens to a body at Titanic depth? Does anybody know what happens? So, humans collapse as they're unable to move against the pressure. Again, the word pressure, which also starts with the letter P. So the immense amount of ambient pressure from the water is so much greater than the body's internal pressure. So the lungs would collapse completely, resulting in instant death. So the word lungs is also related to Saturn, which is nothing but the way we breathe, the air. So, does anybody want to add to this?
Yeah, oxygen carries the valency number 8 in the atomic periodic table.
Correct, correct.
So oxygen is prana. Okay, for all of us. Oxygen is the prana shakti, the vital thing. And that has valency number 8.
Okay. So
Okay, that's the same
oxygen,
problem. That's the same problem we have when we try to reach the abodes of Lord Shiva, because he is unreachable. And then the only thing that blocks us is Saturn, because oxygen problem. So difficult to climb to such heights. So these are extremes at the height and at the bottommost point in the ocean. So beyond a particular point, we have trouble both ways. But this is not a problem until you're exposed to the actual sea. So because once you're inside a submarine, the submarine internal pressure will protect you from the external pressure. That means you're safe inside. So that only applies when the submarine itself cracks. Okay, as soon as then there is no time at all left. It will be instant death. Okay, as long as the submarine doesn't implode or doesn't crack, you are safe, because they would have assured that the pressure inside is what is normally the atmospheric pressure, which is what human beings can manage. Okay, so that anyway. The topic is oxygen is number 8, and there is a connection to lungs in this, so that may be a valid point. Next.
Now moving on to the next portion, I'm talking about the Titanic debris. So does anybody have an idea about that? Okay, I'll move on. So the Titanic's debris is located about 350 miles from the coast of Newfoundland. Please note the number 350, which again adds up to 8.
8.
Correct? Yeah. And yeah, so, and not just that, this is Titanic. But now the recent Titan was just found 400 meters away from Titanic. Again, the half of 8 is 4. The broken pieces due to the implosion, which is just found 400 meters. That's all. Exactly half of 8. Anybody wants to add anything to this? Anybody wants to add anything to this?
No, Deepika, carry on.
And also, now the question may arise, what about the pain that the people might have gone, the five people, what kind of pain they would have gone through at this 12,500 feet below sea level? Does anyone have any idea? Again, the word pain is starting with the letter P. Does anyone have any idea?
No.
Yeah.
Usually they say before they even realize they are gone.
Exactly. Excellent answer. So the implosion happens in a millimicrosecond, very, very fast, faster than the blink of an eyelid. So it happens so fast that even the bones disintegrate. So there'll be nothing left except some parts of the Titan was left. And that's how they concluded that the 5 people were no longer alive. Correct? And now I want to show a conspiracy theory behind the unsinkable Titanic and why they actually had, built the ship. Can I show you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Titanic was destined to sink, and here's why. All the richest people in the world.
A new chilling twist.
Titanic was destined to sink,
And here's why. All the richest people in the world in 1912 were supposed to be on the Titanic. There were the Rothschilds and their lackeys, and so on. There was also a man named Mr. Astor. He was the richest man in America at the time. He owned 40% of all mortgages in America. The only problem was that Mr. Astor was on his way to the Federal Reserve and wanted to create a central bank. The Rothschilds couldn't just make someone of this importance disappear anyhow. This man was too important to kill. How did they do it? All the Rothschilds got into the boat. And in the last few seconds, they all got out of the boat. The boat sank. The richest man in America dead on the Titanic. All the politicians he hobnobbed with, and all the money he owned, evaporated. As for the Rothschilds, the following year in 1913, they created the Federal Reserve Bank. The conspiracy theory involves a rumor that the Rothschild family arranged for John Jacob Astor to board the Titanic, knowing that the ship was destined to sink.
Did anybody notice anything from this video? I'm sure everybody has seen it. So anybody noticed anything in connection with the Saturn?
We watched the video, but it was fast. So
Yeah, I know it was very fast. It was an Instagram feed actually. Okay,
okay,
shall I
but
play it again? Shall I play it again?
no, it's. I mean, you can tell too because it's a good information. We got the information.
Can you see the word 40%?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And the world's richest people like the Rothschild. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
The Rothschild. Again, Ra.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
And did you find something else? The bank's name? Did anybody see that? The bank's name, did you see that?
No, I mean, forgot.
Federal Bank.
Oh yeah, Federal Bank. Yeah.
So please note, even in the conspiracy theory, the number 40, the word Federal Bank and the Rothschilds all are actually related to what? Saturn. That's it. So, and one last video that I wanted to show. It is about the most unbelievable fact theory about Titan 2023. And with this, I conclude. So I'm going to show that now.
A new chilling twist of fate in the story of the missing Titanic submarine. Do you remember this old couple from James Cameron's movie who embraced on the bed as the Titanic went down? The director based them on a real couple, Isadora and Ida Strauss, who died in the historic disaster. Isadora was a co-founder of Macy's department store. And here's the twist. Their great-great-granddaughter is Wendy Rush. Who is she, you are asking? Wendy Rush is married to Stockton Rush, who is one of the 5 men who are trapped in Titan. And he is the founder and CEO of OceanGate.
Did everyone see that?
Yes, Deepika. Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, Isadore's great-great-granddaughter married the CEO of
Rush.
OceanGate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stockton Rush. Yeah. So that's all, my dear friends. I just collected this today. And I
thank you so much, Deepika. This is excellent.
I hope this helps because I was so fascinated. Every day I used to watch, and then I finally wanted to, share my facts.
And you put this, you put this together in a nice way.
Yeah. I had only 1 hour. I just had 1 hour to get everything ready. So I can make it more beautiful. Put all kinds of facts and make it really interactive. Maybe next class.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No problem.
So,
Anybody
Deepika
have
ji,
any
that was
doubts?
nice. That was a beautiful presentation, Deepika ji.
Thank you so much.
Can I have 2 minutes of presentation time? I have something very important to show.
Yes, Kishore. But before that, some 2 corrections.
Okay.
One is when Deepika said Ra sound. The Ra sound is not actually Saturn. It is moon sound. Okay, it is moon sound. But okay, there should be a connection with moon and water. So we'll keep that in mind and make an alteration there that R becomes a moon. But when you have a P and a R or F and R, then it becomes terribly, negatively connected to Saturn. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. And when she said debris, it has to be pronounced debris. Okay, it is not
Debris.
pronounced as the S is silent. That are the two things. But she had collected fantastic points. It's really mind blowing. I think there was also another thing Deepika showed me, but I don't know whether she forgot to include that before getting on to the Titan. Also, they said, "Why did you name this Titanic?"
I have that video. I can show you right now.
Yeah. Just show that before we ask Kishorji to continue.
Yeah. 1 second. Just 1 second.
It's so strange that the same name and again the same, somebody connected to that incident is now connected to the as a CEO and so on. So it's mind blowing, right?
That's actually I forgot to show that. Really, I'm so sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Or we
Yes,
can.
we can.
Eerie similarity between Ocean Gate and the Titanic.
It is unsinkable. God himself could not sink this ship. We'll have to check your baggage. The main tub.
That's a clip from the movie Titanic. The top portion.
Okay.
Pretty much invulnerable. By the time we're done testing it, that's pretty much invulnerable. And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic. That's right. And I will go on all the first dives, put my money where my mouth is.
Did you see that? What did he say? He said that it was.
Again,
What did
maybe.
he say? I mean,
He said it was invulnerable. Invulnerable.
Okay.
oh
not
yeah,
vulnerable.
invulnerable. I
Okay.
see that now.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
he says this is what they said about the Titanic also.
Correct.
So
The
there
anchors
is,
asked.
yeah. So in astrology, there is something called synchronicity, hints, shakunam, omen, and so on. So it looks similar to that, right? And the very fact that this was given the name Titan, which may have something to do with the moon, right? The moon of
yeah.
Saturn.
They say it's the largest moon of Saturn.
Largest moon. Okay. So it is a mix of many things, right? Pride again. Even here he says, while he says it can't be destroyed, the other guy reminds him this is what they said about Titanic also. So he already got the clue. The universe has already provided the clue. Okay, in spite of it happened. So strange. Now over to
one more video I have to show.
Sir?
Somebody asked me how the implosion takes place. So I want to show that.
No, I think that's not required, Deepi.
Oh,
How the implosion took place. Except that if you have a time at what time the implosion happened, then that would be really the most useful thing for us.
Yeah, I have been asking everyone about it, and I've been trying to collect the data. But right now, I just have the implosion video.
Okay.
It shows how it actually implodes. So I'm trying to get the.
But that could only be animated, right? There couldn't actually be a real recording of that, right?
No. We were not able to get the real recording. I'm trying my best. So let's see if we can get the time at least. So maybe from there we can end our research and conclude that it is a pure event of Saturn.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much for.
You can stop sharing. And
thank you, Deepika.
Yes. By now, anyone has attempted the horoscope of at least from what Alina gave, that it began on 18th June, 9:30 a.m. Newfoundland and all that, or simply use the Latlon and feed in 12 o'clock and then call it UTC, which is actually no correction on GMT. So it'll automatically refer to Greenwich latitude. Okay, Greenwich longitude. Okay, so we'll do that. Meanwhile, over to Kishorji for his inputs.
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.
Thank you for the presentation, Deepika ji. I was not able to actively participate because I was in another committed discussion with my class, my chess class.
Thank you so much.
But I was listening keenly, and while I was listening and participating in the other program, I was also doing my own research and getting things ready for one particular thing that I was wanting to check. And I think Guruji has an inkling of what I'm going to say next, or probably he has an idea, because it was a discussion I had with him some time back. when the Odisha train accident took place. I hope you remember that, Guruji.
Yes, definitely.
So I have a strange fact to be seen here.
Okay.
First, let me reveal the suspense slowly. So I'm going to go into what is known as a selected screen sharing. That means one part of the screen, and slowly I'll be increasing the area of the screen share.
Okay.
So that the suspense is maintained.
Okay.
And
a very important point is that I was just, so eager to do this today, and then I realized it is a Monday and it's also a 26th. So I still feel it is a Moon and Saturn mix something. This event is totally Moon and Saturn.
Yeah, which is why my first slide is, I just wrote it was created on June 26th.
Oh, June 26th. Okay, good.
And today is Ashtami also.
Yeah, that is an additional point. Yeah, the Ashtami factor also. Correct.
So I'll first give, yes, Deepika ji.
If anybody wants to have a thorough reading, there is a book about, Titanic, all about history book. That's with me right now. I can just share it in the Zoom,
Okay. In the chat, you can copy paste the link. So others can also just start off. But meanwhile, we'll look at this chart.
So before I go into it, Guruji, first we need to get the DTP correct. That is the usual procedure, right, Guruji?
Correct.
So for others who are feeding it, please copy this. Are you able to see the details here?
Okay, yeah.
So this is the 12 p.m. and it is Canada. And the place is Newfoundland. Unfortunately, it is not seen in Sri Jyoti, but I had to feed the latitude, longitude on my own.
Okay.
And that's when I got the chart. So please take
a look. Here, there is a point. If you use 12 noon, 12 UTC, you can't have a time correction or daylight saving or anything. You'll have to make it all zeros, because the software will use GMT 0 and then do it. That's what it means when you say UTC.
No, this is not UTC, Guruji. This is what was mentioned in the Wikipedia page with, in the incident page, where I'm going to show next if people want.
But then Alina says it is 9:30 a.m.
Yes, that is the
implosion time.
point. I did 9:30 a.m. and this is the time that came up after the time zone was fed. The time zone is like 3 hours and 30 minutes west.
No, Kishorji, if you put the time, and then put the GMT correction.
This will come automatically, Guruji. Sri Jyoti takes it automatically. Yes.
Is that correct?
So, yes. If you put that, in fact, I pasted 9:30 only. I did not paste 12 p.m. It came automatically.
How did you do that?
Because I fed the latitude, longitude.
Kishorji, you have put the country Canada.
Country is Canada, but here the longitude, latitude belong to that particular place, which was mentioned in the Wikipedia. The latitude, longitude has been taken from that page.
But the dive operation started at 9:30 a.m.?
Yes. And I'm going to show you that screen also. Just a sec. Here it is. So one strange incident, one strange thing that made me look at this is the fact that here, this is the most important part. It originally aimed to start its descent at 8 a.m. GMT.
Oh.
Okay, and then it started at 12 p.m. GMT, which was like which was the actual, it started its descent later according to the US Coast Guard.
Okay.
And it is at 12 p.m. that it started actually.
Oh.
So taking this time, and this is from a very famous The Guardian.
Okay. That's why you used 12 o'clock. Okay.
Yes, that's why it came as 12 o'clock. So let me go back.
Yeah, it's the descent. I think once they reached that spot, the descent started at that time.
12 o'clock. So, then that is correct. So we will
to prove it. To prove it, there are some things in the chart, and I'm not showing some parts of the Sri Jyoti software because I'm keeping the best suspense for the last.
Okay.
So till we go into this D1 chart, please have a look at it. I'll give 30 seconds of meditation on the chart, and if people want to say something, probably we can provide them the time to speak.
Maybe more than 30 minutes. Maybe
30 seconds. 30 seconds, Guruji.
Enough.
Maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. Please let me know your inputs, and then I'll slowly expand the area to include other important details. So what I'm trying to do is start
can we
from
have
D1.
a North Indian chart too, Kishorji?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second. I'll have to move some things around.
I have just attached the book all about history. in the chat. So if people are really interested, they can have a look at a thorough analysis of Titanic with all the research and data available in the book.
Okay.
I just found out that the number of passengers the Titanic could carry was around 3,500. I just found out now. I'll show you.
Now, Kishorji is continuing. Just wait. Towards the end, you continue with what you wanted to say.
This is actually a schematic diagram of the ship and the number of passengers.
No, Deepika, just wait. Let Kishorji complete. We will take it up later.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is D1 for you, Anuji, in North Indian style. I think it was Anuji who requested, right?
Not sure.
Oh, thank you, Kishorji.
Yeah. Deepakji says moon is in Amavasya.
No, moon is not in Amavasya. It is Pratipat. Okay.
Just close to sun, yeah.
See, I'll tell you what is Amavasya. Amavasya is always where the moon maximum can be exactly on the sun, which is the ending of Amavasya, and then go minus 12 degrees. That is the zone for Amavasya. Since
minus 12 degrees or
degrees from the sun. Oh. So that is the area where it is Amavasya. So the moment it touches, Amavasya ends. And that is usually the peak of an eclipse, if at all Rahu or Ketu is involved. Otherwise, when you look at that, if you notice that the moon has just crossed the sun, then it is not Amavasya, it is Pratipat. Okay. But in a way, the moon is disturbed because it's still close to the sun, right? We have an issue there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weak moon and it is also a malefic moon.
Correct.
It's also the 12th lord.
Even though we normally declare it as Shukla Paksha, remember the ancient book says it is still not strong until it has reached Panchami, the 5th. It starts off gently by becoming better on Tritiya, the 3rd phase of the moon, but then it gathers strength around Panchami and then it increases. So it's not exactly that the time Amavasya is over, it becomes Shukla Paksha. Though for practical reasons, it is declared as Shukla Paksha. I mean, sorry, theoretically. Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
This time is almost like noon time only because the sun is in the 10th bhava. Okay, it's in the 10th bhava. You can do that in the mind. Because ascendant is at 21 degrees, sun is at 2 degrees. The sun will move backwards in the bhava chart. So it should be in the 10th house. When the sun is in the 10th house, it's around noon. So whatever we had confusion about GMT and all that, I think most probably this is the right one. If the descent started then. Okay.
So anybody would like to give us an update on what they observed?
I see Mars aspecting Saturn.
Okay.
And for this Lagna, Mars is the Yoga Karaka, the Raja Yoga Karaka. It's not in a good position. It's in the 12th house.
Mars, the Yoga Karaka, is in the 12th. Okay. Okay.
It's in the center also, not 12th, but
or you want to add that it is in the water sign?
Yes, sir. And Bhava Madhya also very strongly in the Bhava Madhya and near to debilitation. Yeah.
Okay.
Very near to debilitation.
So I think now Kishorji is pointing at Saturn's involvement with vital facts or vital points. He says Saturn. Okay. A very simple idea in Prashna Marga. If somebody is asking a question of how safe is the journey, and if they find in the Prashna Saturn occupies the 7th, they'll say cancel the journey. There's a very age-old practice in Kerala. If they see Saturn in the 7th, it's dangerous, don't continue. Okay.
So this time is the starting of the journey, sir?
Yeah, this is actually starting because even though they would have moved from some other point to here. If you look at the beginning of the exact thing, it should be like they're above the Titanic, and then from there they start, right?
Yeah, the descent started.
The descent is usually more to do with the beginning of the event.
If that is the case, then can we say the fourth Lord Vagana is
You can add. You
debilitated
can
in
add.
12th?
Yes, definitely. Why can't you add? Because it is the Lord of the fourth, which is the Vahana, which is the vehicle itself, is sitting in the 12th.
And also in a debilitated, more angrier position. So
debilitation, more angry. Okay. But Rahu Jupiter conjunction is also an issue, right? And then Saturn looking at Jupiter and looking at Rahu. That's why in the slideshow that Deepika showed, there were a lot of fours also involved, right? Rahu is also involved. Okay, so Rahu and Ketu is also involved. And Rahu happens to be a Maraka anyway for this Lagna, at least from the time the descent started. So please type out the... I never expected that in just a short time we would all come up with the horoscope itself. I thought this will be a trailer. We just to...
I was doing a lot of analysis on other incidents, and I was keeping this as something to do in the future. But when Gautam rang me up and told me there's a Patreon session, come urgently, I said, okay, let me do it.
Okay.
In fact, I first declined this call because I was in a class, and then I gave him a call. So I said, okay. And while I was looking at the chart, the presentation was going on. Okay. Then suddenly I opened up the page where I do this mundane event research, and I saw something really striking. If you can remember the Odisha train incident, which was analyzed, Guruji, if you remember, I also had a call with you and I discussed with you something. So I'm going to reveal that part in another few minutes. Okay. Before that, about this chart, we see that the fourth lord, the ninth lord is debilitated. First point. Second point, we have Jupiter, who is the Jiva Karaka, who is also getting afflicted by Rahu Ketu. Third point, we see that the Lagna Lord, not the Lagna Lord, sorry, Venus, who is the third and the 10th Lord, also along with Mars in the 12th. So usually we say this Mars-Venus conjunction is not a good conjunction. It creates disharmony. So we have third Lord, fourth Lord, ninth Lord, 10th Lord in the 12th. Then we have the fifth and the eighth Lord being afflicted by Ketu and Saturn, or Rahu Ketu axis, and with Saturn, additionally piling up with Saturn's third aspect. Now, Saturn's aspect on the Lagna is also seen, and Saturn's aspect on the fourth house is also seen. Fourth, if you can recall, Guruji, I think it is in medical astrology, it is the lung area, right, Guruji?
Yes, definitely okay. Lungs.
Fourth is also the
or at least the chest.
Yes, and fourth is also the vehicles, and 12th is for the large water bodies like oceans.
Correct.
Okay, so we see the connection of 4th, 12th, and Saturn's aspect and all that. We also see the special, no, not the special aspect. The special aspect of Ketu, which I consider as not only the 1-7 axis but also the 9. So we see that Sun is afflicted by Ketu's drishti.
Yeah.
So Ketu's affliction is more of a separatist thing than anything else.
Okay.
Now, this is just a preliminary suggestion to probe this. And then while I'm going to, shall I reveal the other things, Guruji? No? Or is there anything else in this chart which we need to focus?
No, then in case we want to, complete it round one, we can finish. Yeah.
Okay. So here is the next part of the screen coming up. And this is where, I don't know if people remember the Odisha train accident analysis that was given by me at the fag end of that video. If not, I suggest strongly people watch it. So this is what I'm trying to show you, Guruji, here.
Okay.
So I think you can remember what
Mrityu Bhaga.
Mrityu Bhaga.
Okay.
So again, we have the concept of Mars, Venus, and Ayul Karaka, Saturn. Now, here is a small paradox. Usually Saturn is Digbali in the 7th.
Okay.
And it is also retrograde, which makes it even more powerful. But the fact that it is in Mrityu Bhaga, being the Ayush Karaka, being the Maraka in Mrityu Bhaga, I think that annuls that Digbala.
Oh.
The effect of that Digbali Saturn here, normally we say Saturn is Digbali in the 7th. It has directional strength, or what you call that, positional strength in 7th. But here...
This is a great observation, I should admit.
Okay.
Because
So
of
there
the
are
accuracy with the Mrityu Bhaga. Okay.
yes. So see, when we look at these events, Guruji, these world-shaking events, I would say, they do have something in the chart. And this has been consistently been my finding. And whenever I do it sincerely, I get the pointers from the chart. When I do it very casually, it doesn't come.
If the people who organize this trip, they make a call to Kishorji 3 days before and say, we are going to, we're going to go down on this date. Obviously, you would find, right, all these Mrityu Bhaga things and tell, don't ever pursue it. Okay.
Definitely, Guruji.
You would have told that. So the world stands to gain if they look into, there's a possibility for big risky things if you use astrology, because surely this is something at the highest risk, trying to attempting to climb Mount Everest, which is like 8,000 meters high. So this is just the opposite of it under the sea, but the sea is much more dangerous because of the extraordinary, the pressure and all these problems, right? And still they never thought about consulting whether it's a good time or a bad time. And the reason is that it never got approved by the scientific community. But look at the observations here. At least
it's still not over, Guruji. One more observation is pending.
Okay.
So I'm revealing the next layer of observation.
Okay.
And that comes from this thing, Ashtakarga.
Ashtakarga. Oh. Are you able to come up with something there?
Yes, Guruji. 8th house has 31 points.
Okay.
And where is the annotation? Yeah. 8th house is 31. And then we have 9th is 34. 10th is 30. And 11th, which is usually above 30. By default, it is above 30.
Generally more so. Yeah, because many planets contribute points to the 11th in Ashtakarga, right?
Yes.
So usually,
yes. So
but
this is
planetary structure is like that.
Yeah. So this is something very rare. I have not seen 23 in 11 very rarely.
Yeah. Usually get more
default
points.
is 30. So that is another observation which I wanted to make. And then if you look at the Shadbala and Vimshopak Bal, for Sun, which is the Lagna Lord, it is 8 here.
Oh. Okay.
And for Mercury, it is 74 here. Whereas the others are all very tall in Shadbal.
Oh.
So these are the observations that if I go deeper into it, we can come up with other things. But see, the point is, I'm not trying to retrofit anything.
Yeah, just
Mrityu Bhaga is there? Yes, it is there.
Yeah. Saturn at 13 degrees.
Yes, Saturn Ayul Karak. So Ayush Karak having Mrityu Bhaga, though it is in 7th and retrograde, it could not prevent, and it was doomed or destined, or probably, unfortunately, at that time it happened. So these are pointers that we should not ignore. The intricacies of the chart, people, when they look at D1 and they do the prediction, maybe 50, 60, 70% they would get correct. But for more accurate, we need to, go deeper into it. And that is why people say that our Guruji, he's a technical astrologist or what, scientific astrologer, right, Guruji? That was that was a title given to you, because many of my astrologer friends, they would refer Guruji as, okay, our idalam pakrara, D3, D7, ellame paapar. Okay, fine. I said, yeah, stack up. Without stack up, you cannot come to a conclusion. Otherwise, you'll go way off target.
Exactly.
And you'll earn a bad name if you go with wrong consultation. When you say Putra Dosha and the person would be having 3 children.
Okay. Can you, shall we ask the class, somebody is totally new to the concept of Mrityu Bhaga? I have never seen a Mrityu Bhaga chart. Anybody in the class, just raise your hand. Of course, one is you can always Google. Okay. So, implosion or explosion usually connected to Saturn and Mars. Okay, so
do we see the Panchanga, Guruji, that day? I have not seen that actually.
Panchang you can see, because
no, I have not seen. So shall we?
You just look at it. Yeah, always something to do with the yoga.
Yeah, I forgot to see
the big bad yogas like Vaidriti, Vyatipata. Is anything there the most poisonous one? Pariga.
Yeah,
they are all big time, negative things. Okay. So there's no end to this. You have to be a very
Panchanga definitely should be saying something.
Yeah.
But okay.
open another page with and
Yeah. We'll do it in that.
yeah.
This is the one, right? We'll remove Imshupak for now.
Okay.
And Shadbal for now. We've seen that. So here we'll put Panchang. Okay.
That Kinstugnya is a bad Karana. It's very bad. It's the first one, that Kinstugna. Okay. That is bad. Oh, we missed the another important point, that the nakshatra itself is Arudra.
And Saturn is also in the
Arudra is Shiva. You're like I told you, right? When you try to approach Shiva in the Himalayas, you get into trouble. Okay, something like that. Arudra, very bad.
Overall,
Arudra,
it says,
for those of you're new to concepts of Muhurta, Arudra is a straightaway rejected nakshatra for any auspicious activity. Okay, so that is also a point. What is a yoga? It is
Gandha.
Gandha is not good actually.
Is it the 10th yoga? What is the name of it? Gandha? There's another name for the 10th yoga. This is not the regular name in the classical textbooks. 10th yoga. But at least the number is given, right? I'll find the equivalent. I'll try to have a reference book. Just a minute.
Guruji, if I'm not mistaken, Sri Jyoti has 2 Panchangas, right? This is one.
Okay.
It displays
the other one, the regular Panchang.
This is the bigger one. Yeah.
Kinstugna, Yoga. Wait. Lord Yoga, Duplicate Yoga. Not this one. No. Wait.
Yoga is Gandha.
But Gandha is not the regular term that is used. That's why I'm wondering. Because in the list of yogas, it usually doesn't come. But the 10th yoga is normally referred as, Ganda. Okay. Gandha. It's not Gandha. Ganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ganda means danger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got it. So because I saw the DHA, I got confused. Okay, it's Ganda. It's a bad one. We reject it in our astrology diary. Okay. Good. See how many things are.
Sir, we can say how many planets are in Rahu Ketu Nakshatra, sir. Saturn is in the Rahu Nakshatra.
No, just look at this. The word Ganda itself is danger, right? There's danger. Even if they're considered a basic Panchang, it will tell them not to embark on the journey. Right?
Yes,
Guruji. Yeah. So when I'm making the diary year after year, this Ganda thing we will always reject. But in Ganda, the beginning of the Ganda, the 2 hours 24 minutes is the most crucial one. Do we have percentage of how much yoga was left in Ganda? If you go to the previous page,
that is in the previous Panchanga.
Yeah, just see what is the percentage left. If it is closer to the beginning, it is very bad.
79.32%.
80%. How do you convert this into percentage? If 2 hours of 24-hour clock, that means how much is it? Roughly halfway through 12, another half will be 6. So quarter, somewhere it must be very close, I think. Anyway, we'll consider it as 80%, right? So could be on the edge of the most acute part. It doesn't mean that the entire other part we can use, but normally for Ganda, it is 2 hours and 24 minutes. The first 6 gatis is bad. Maybe it is already there, right? The journey began in the Ganda from the time they began the journey also. If you check, it should be purely beginning of Ganda. So Kinstugna is bad, Ganda is bad, Rudra, Arudra Nakshatra, too many negative things. So it is I feel it is a straightaway. Anyway, I think everybody knows it's an implosion, right? Almost like a explosion type. Usually we have it when Saturn and Mars are involved, and this 13 degrees of Saturn, and I still can't believe that Mritibhaga it's filled with numbers, and so how exactly these numbers are playing itself out, right? So if you give me,
See, Guruji, when we remember about the Odisha train accident, I even have that chart.
Okay.
There also, I twisted. I did some event time rectification. We came to that time where there were 3 Mrityubhagas happening at the same time when the train
correct.
reached a certain point. Now, the reason why I find this Mrityubhaga part to be striking is because you always keep repeating one thing, Guruji, that find out that which is rare and then start from there in a chart.
Yeah.
So, for example, even in yesterday's discussion, there was this Sun and Mercury conjunct in Aquarius, and then along with that, there was Saturn, 12th Lord in 12th, along with Sun and Mercury.
Correct.
So the point was that Sun, Mercury being together, Mercury being combust is not rare, but Mercury, Sun being together, I mean, Mercury combust with Sun and Saturn in the same place, then that becomes a rare event.
Okay.
See, the more rarer the event, the more weightage we need to give to those points to separate and to statistically record the link between the event and the position of the planets.
Okay.
The grahas. I'm sorry to use the word planets.
So now I'm going to show the Mrityubhaga just for the sake of the recording. Okay. Can see this, right? This is something that Gautam did this.
So what is this the probability, Guruji, that 3 planets should be in
yeah, they're all big. They're all big.
Yeah.
I mean, at least 2 of them are extremely big, right?
No,
Saturn
even
and
getting
Mars.
1 is difficult, Guruji. Getting
very
1 is
difficult.
itself difficult.
What is the chance? Correct.
Less than 4%. I mean, for one planet to get
very difficult.
Very
in
nice.
Exact degree.
That's
and this is the degree actually, not even like, range of degrees like we have in
correct.
own house and Ucha Nicha and all that.
Yeah, Mula Trikona or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly only 1 degree. How on earth this was? I think this must have existed from the Rishi's time itself, not that it appeared only in Jadaga Parijata or Sarvata Chintamani or so. If these people got it, it must have already existed in India, right? So it must have come down from the Rishis, because no modern, later astrologers could have even thought about what logic can be with the degrees like this, right? And why we rounded up the moon alone, it is because we noticed that there were some differences in the 2 tables. Taken from Faladipika and Horashara, there were some changes. So only for moon, there's a dispute. Okay? Moon, there is a dispute. So in this moon, Gemini is 13 degrees, but moon was not at 13 degrees, right? The moon was somewhere around, how much was it? 7 degrees or something?
7.38.
7 something. Whereas moon here is 13 degrees. So we didn't, it didn't tally with the moon alone. Okay.
Do you have the other chart, Guruji? Other version?
Rahu 14 degrees. Rahu 14 degrees in Aries. But that is not true, right?
No, Rahu 7.5.
Yeah, correct. So this is really, remarkable. And so we had a wonderful session. Watery planet moon is in Amavasya. We already corrected that, Deepak. We said it is in Pradhamai. Okay, Pratipat. Okay. Oh, that was a previous point. And Sheena Diman records that so much sorrow, right? So as that's why Deepika started off with a prayer.
And Guruji, do you remember the Odisha analysis? One important statement that came out was that Mars was aspecting Saturn, but Saturn was not aspecting
Not
Mars.
aspecting, yeah, correct.
The same thing here.
Exactly, correct.
Sir, one more thing is, sir, the planets, the benefic planets are all with the Krura Graha, sir. Only Mercury is left. Venus is with Mars. Jupiter is with Rahu. Moon is with Sun.
Oh.
And yes.
Hmm.
I mean, not saving grace at the time.
Okay, got it. See, but look at that Prashna idea used in Kerala, that when you start something, if you have Saturn in the 7th, it is dangerous for journey. So what a fantastic point.
Yes, sir, yes.
Mm.
And
This
Saturn
is
is in
moon of
Rahu
Saturn.
Nakshatra, I think, sir. Is it in Rahu Nakshatra? 13 degrees is Rahu Nakshatra?
Yeah, it is. It is in Satabisha. Yeah, that can be added. Please type it out.
Yeah.
Saturn is connecting to Rahu, and then it gets connected to the star because it's moon star, right? So Saturn and moon gets connected like that. This is a theory that is often used in books like Dhruvanadi. You can connect through the stars, the grahas, nakshatra sambandha. Have you heard of this? Nakshatra sambandha. Like in the same way we have Rashi sambandha. So the moon in Arudra, Saturn in Arudra. Saturn in Satabisha. Nice points. So we'll catch up again. Wonderful. Last minute, Kishorji helped us out with a lot of points. And I'll upload this tomorrow. Gautam, as usual, staying awake without, thank you, Gautam. Yeah, Pavani has recorded that Saturn in Rahu Nakshatra, same as Moon Nakshatra. So it gets interconnected. It's called Nakshatra Sambandha. Okay.
So 8th Lord afflicted by Rahu and
Correct.
third house afflicted by Ketu. Third is 8th from 8th. Once again.
Yeah. 8th from 8th. So there is a lot of danger, right? Anyway, we'll hope that such events, doesn't happen in future. And we hope that astrology gets approved by the scientific community for big risky things. Why not look into the horoscope? Maybe we don't have to look into it like how in India everybody looks into the horoscope in the morning. The Panchang every day. We can't help it because we have to go to the office every day. So I tell people don't use astrology on a daily basis, except for example, Janma Nakshatra or just the Chandrashama. And even then, not to take it, unless you can use by using common sense, when it is very important to check on these things. Okay.
Sir, someone added in the chat, sir, a point.
Okay.
It is a, yeah.
If you take the Dasha based, the Dasha, Antardasha, when the event happened is Rahu. Wow. Gautam, you are now a budding astrologer. Proven. Okay. Wow. How did you? We didn't even check Dasha and Antardasha. Oh, that's really nice. Okay. Suppose if it is Rahu, it is Rahu, right? Because moon is at the beginning of Arudra. So it must be Rahu. Rahu, straight away answer from Maharishi. If you are under the rule of the 7th Lord, there is danger. And then he says, do Durga Puja and so on, right? Fantastic. So
the
this
Rahu
is
influence is there in the chart. Too much Rahu influence.
Too much of Rahu. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Guruji, we have 4 Mrityu Bhagas now.
Why? Who is the 4th one?
Ascendant itself.
Wow.
At 11:20.
Oh, at 11:20. Oh, you could bring it to that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It is possible.
A lot of things are happening there, and
but this Rahu gains a lot of power because unfortunately it is just proving the Rahu intensity, right? When you are inside a Rahu Dasha and a Rahu Antardasha, it proves the intensity. And so Saturn occupying Rahu Nakshatra and then again Moon occupying Rahu Nakshatra, Rahu's energy is so much. And then that same Rahu is afflicting Guru in the main chart. At least Guru is the 5th Lord. So bad luck. In spite of your wealth, your Lakshmi is affected. Your wealth is not saving you. You're completely I noticed one thing when Deepika said, 17 bolts. My God, you're locked. You're imprisoned by Saturn. No escape. It's almost like saying your fate is sealed by the 17. Most probably these people would not have given any donations. That's what I think. Would not have parted with their wealth to the suffering. I wish
this is a chart of the Uganda school attack, Guruji.
Oh.
There was a terrorist attack on school children in Uganda.
Oh.
And this was man-made, not natural.
Oh. Okay.
And then you see once again the presence of Mrityu Bhaga on Saturn.
Yeah, Saturn again. So it's really bad.
Even Saturn is in Rahu Nakshatra here also, and Rahu Ketu are in their own nakshatras.
And here also Mars is aspecting Saturn, but Saturn is not aspecting Mars.
Yeah, one thing that the retrogression of Saturn began, but people always think the retrogression is very active. It's actually stamba for some days, right? Some 4 days, I think, roughly. So it is yet to, and when it is stamba, it's trying to insist something. Like it's very strong when it gets stationed. So again, it could mean like we are stuck. We can't escape. So,
sir, here the 5th and 6th are together, sir. The 5th and 6th are together in the chart with related to children. In the chart before.
Yeah. Correct. So you can relate it like that. In the previous one, it was vehicle based. Now it is children based, right? 5th Lord in the 6th with Rahu and Ketu.
Oh, the previous chart. Okay. This is the Odisha train chart, Guruji.
This is Odisha, is it?
Yeah, same thing. Mars is aspecting Saturn, but Saturn is not aspecting Mars.
Okay. Odisha, it's a really bad luck. My God.
So 9th Lord was afflicted in the 12th Bhava with Ketu. 5th Lord afflicted in the 6th Bhava with Rahu. Mercury also became afflicted because of that. The 8th Lord. And Mars is once again debilitated. Lagna Lord.
Bad luck, yeah.
And here we have the Smriti Bhaga once again repeating 3 times.
Very nice. They're showing the near Smriti Bhaga also. What is the Panchang on that day? What is the Panchang on that day?
Here it is. Gara. Not for ceremony. Roga. Overall, the Panchanga is not good for auspicious events.
Okay.
Sometimes, Panchangas are useful to decide. When you look at Muhurta and all that, then these sort of negative statements in the Panchanga mean that we have to stay away from them, right?
Correct.
I think hereafter we'll start looking at Mrityu also, I think.
So what I'm saying, there is a practical limit to all this. So what we can do is only, not all the time we can alert everybody. It will be like a negative thing to say something before, unless we are consulted. We can't make a...
Yes.
If they announce something, you can't say there is a bad time going on. It is scary. And I think there's a law in India which says that you can't make a prediction and... kind of spread fear in the minds of people. You can get arrested for it. Okay. So we have some issues there. But normally if they consult an astrologer before such big high-risk things, at least the rich can afford, they can contact somebody and say, what do you think? Can we look at another date? Or something, maybe something can
another thing that we need to hereafter think about is what to do if a client has these Mrityu Bhagas in the chart.
No, that's actually very impractical, Kishore ji, because when you start telling these things, even if you say a minor negative point itself, the phase will change. Okay.
No, Guruji, if you remember our medical astrology, we have this Mrityu Bhaga given a lot of importance for medical events.
Yeah.
So anything connected with life energy, I think Mrityu Bhaga is one which
usually such investigation starts when they ask a question, because normally we don't look into every aspect of life in a limited time period. You have not so much time left to consult. See, for example, slowly we are bringing in facts, right? And when we got we got the reading going, we missed it was Rahu Dasha, and that Rahu becomes the 7th Lord, the danger, travel, everything, right? So that's also like this, we will miss a lot of things. But after the event, it will be so clear. For example, today morning, I saw a chart where the father passed away. It's showing in the wife's chart, it's showing in the children's chart. But then if you say, why can't we do it much ahead of time? So what is the point? Because the problem is, according to the textbook, he is supposed to do Vishnu Sahasranama, and the lady says, no, my husband never believed in these things, and he never did it also. So he had a different approach, and so Vishnu Sahasranama was not done. But there, Sage Bhrigu says danger to life, and then Kama do Mrityunjaya. Okay, it's related to Mercury. Sorry, this Vishnu Sahasranama. So the thing is, when they don't do it, can you say, no, if you don't do it, you will die? So it's not practical. Astrology is not practical to some point. And let's say if it was fated to happen, even then, anyway, it's going to happen. You can't stop it. How is it reflecting on both the children's chart? The Dwadasamsa is staring in the face so perfectly. Everything. Then in the Navamsha for the wife, it is in the 12th house, the Antardasha. For in Dwadasamsa, it is in the Lagna. From Dwadasamsa Lagna, it is in the 6th house. And the Dashanath is in the 12th house. So it's only after the event we are able to find it. Otherwise, it becomes so complex. I mean, even casually, if you say there is a Putra dosha or some statement like that, which is only, we're going to only give remedies for it. Oh, so my daughter is not going to have a child, is it? Immediately that fear. It will be really upsetting, right? So we'll have to go gently into the topic, there is a problem like this. Whereas in this case, if these people had consulted us or an astrologer, we will simply say, no, don't use that time. At least that's not emotional, right? Don't
I mean, it is more like bordering on the muhurta, right? Like when you
it's
do
only more like muhurta,
then,
correct. Yeah,
then
more
we can
like
include
muhurta.
Mrityubhaga there also, right, Guruji?
Correct.
In that muhurta, additional analysis for muhurta.
Yeah, we can definitely use it. And I think we should combine common sense here, because it is already dangerous. And such a small vehicle, now Gautam is typing out, the 17 bolts sealed their fate. Oh, what a way of describing that. Such an unfortunate thing. Anyway, I don't know, in my school days, while I was going through Sade Sati, casually somebody said, if you write number 17 and you reverse it, it will be lion. Okay, Lion. I was fascinated with these things for some reason. So without my knowledge, during my 7.5 year Saturn, I kept writing so many times that and staring at it. Today I'm realizing why did I do that? Though it is a casual statement in the class, right? You write number 17 and look at and turn the book upside down and you will see lion. Okay. So I kept on writing it again and again. Little knowing that, only today I know that I was going through 7.5 year Saturn. And my roll number was always 8 in my class. Okay. So if you start looking out for patterns, I'm sure we'll all find patterns here. So thank you. I think we had a wonderful session. So in spite of short notice, so much of contributions.
So if anybody wants the PPT, if they want to add something to it, they can.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can take some more inputs from the chat and just, add it. And then maybe at the end of the video, I can add the slideshow separately. Okay. You can copy paste the chat. I'll send you the chat. You can use it by just taking, for example, Gautam notice this and Kishorji notice this.
One more thing, I just want to ask this question to Aarti Maheshwari.
Okay.
The search is also done nearly 80 hours as per Wikipedia, but the oxygen can only stay till 96 hours. So does she mean after the 96 hours, separate 80 hours? Or
No, it is right from the beginning.
From the time the
journey starts.
The sliding of the sub to
yeah. It's almost like sealing. From outside, the 17 bolt you seal. From then on, this much time is left.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if you can get the dates and the birth dates of all the 5 people, they may be connected in one way or the other, that they had to lose their life together. I had this.
Yeah, that is impossible, because people aren't so friendly, as far as astrology friendly. So they wouldn't part with the date and time and place of birth of all the 5 people. But maybe in the future, something can come up. Okay.
So in this case, Guruji, when we see this mass destruction or death happening, then individually the charts cannot be scrutinized for negative events, but the event itself will be having a negative connotation to it. The event
Yeah,
time
yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
So,
that's why if you want to do even separately generating a chart, you can learn a lot of things in everybody's life. Like if some, but these are all dramatic events, right? Something very big that catches the attention of the whole world. So if you look at, I think there was a lot of research done on Indira Gandhi's assassination. That chart, like that, we want to study what exact time Gandhiji was shot. We can do that. But I think in this case, nobody has found out the exact implosion time, right? If it is recorded, we can create another chart and see if the ascendant is tallying with some special points when the actual implosion happened.
And natural events, especially, I think will sync more with the charts.
Correct. Yeah.
Will show more properly or more appropriately in the charts than man-made
Which is a natural
events.
event? Which is a natural event?
Like, for example, we have earthquakes, volcanic eruptions.
Yeah, but
those
this is a
natural
man-made
catastrophes.
expedition.
No, we don't know, right? It could be it could also be natural, isn't it? Natural means natural made, not man-made. That's what I'm saying. See, man-made is when somebody does something like planting a bomb or destroying something or killing somebody. Natural is by nature
Nature
venting out its
destroying it.
fury.
Correct,
Nature
correct.
destroying it. Nature
Yeah.
venting its fury.
Hmm.
So earthquakes, tsunamis, those are the things that I think we also have a video on tsunami. I'll check that also in the Sri Jyoti and see whether there was a Mritibhaga at that time.
Yeah.
So those who are interested in looking at it, try to move the time around a little bit to see if because sometimes the recorded time or mentioned time may not be the appropriate thing. They would just give a round off and people will copy paste everything from that one source.
Oh.
So moving up and down a little bit will give us the Mritibhaga things. Yeah. So Sri Jyoti
I would
has this
also like
wonderful
to
thing.
add about Dawood's son. So I just want to clarify this point alone. Dawood's son wasn't actually interested in joining this Titan, but he was very scared and nervous. That's what the report says. And just because his father, wanted was a big fan of Titanic and wanted to see the Titanic wreck, he joined his father as an honor to Father's Day. So can I conclude by saying that his father was not lucky for him, or maybe his father has caused his own death, something like that?
Yeah, because he insisted that he travels even though the boy was afraid. So there could have been a Pitru dosha or something. For all practical purpose, we can easily guess they might be connected to the actual Titanic event, because 100 years have crossed, right? More than 100 years after the event. So there is a possibility that these people are maybe something to do with rebirth connected to the Titanic event itself.
Yeah, but the lesson learned is losing a life in such an accident and still wanting to go back to that place is a little uncanny.
So in Kerala, there is a statement that where strange death has happened, don't visit that place.
Correct.
Okay? That's one of the ideas used whenever something like that, or this is like it was a watery grave. So many, I think more than 1,000 people. I don't remember the exact number. So many people lost their lives. So it's so much negative energy there. And I was thinking about, what are you trying to do? You want to celebrate that? You want to make this an exhibition? You want to go and see it for what? Or are you going to sit there and cry for them? Is that why you went? Or you just want to have, you just got curious and, you want to look at it like a movie, somebody's bad luck. Okay. So that is also a kind of a, maybe.
I also wanted to ask this question. James Cameron had the opportunity to visit Mariana Trench 30 to 33 times and came out unharmed. Yeah. So could this
So
Saturn be?
that means James Cameron must be having a very strong Saturn in his chart, and he was protected. Maybe his Jupiter was protecting him, or maybe there was no danger in water for him. Whereas these 5 people, the chances are very high that they might be having maybe moon in the 6th house or moon in the 8th house, which is watery Ganda, Ganda and water. So must be connected. Okay. Because if you can visit the same place so many times, James Cameron did it, then it is obviously that why were these rich people so careless in choosing what method they should go down to see it. So I think this is again an expression that I'm so rich, I can do what I want, and so on. Instead, if you're so rich, you can change people's lives by giving them a lot of money and getting rid of the poverty in Somalia, or some of the the places that is known for poverty, instead of saying I can use my money to go for an excursion. Okay, something like that.
Okay. The next question is, if not for the accident that happened, would they lose their lives anywhere like that on land?
We never know. We don't have answers. Maybe they're running a bad time anyway. That is what you're trying to say. But these are all hypothetical. I mean, even if we say an answer, it's not perfect. So we'll skip the question. Okay.
No, if that was the question, then if the answer was a complicated answer for this question, what about the flight that went missing from Philippines or Singapore? I'm not sure. I think a few years back, and a lot of search was Malaysia. Yeah. I think it was flight number 370.
Yeah.
So we do not know anything about that. There were almost 300 passengers, I think. So if you look at the individual chart of all the 300 passengers, I don't think there would be anything displaying that in the chart of these individuals. But the time or the event, that would have been the
maybe the Murta of that day.
Yeah.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah.
Or what
and
time
all of them, they were fated to be at that time so that this event could happen. But we don't know the inner workings of karma, actually.
No, actually, there is there is provision in astrology that when you talk about larger numbers, the rules are different, it seems, when an event happens. So they come into that category of not the regular plan. It goes out of plan. Okay. And of course, the fate adjusted somehow by taking something from Sanchita Karma, it seems, and get adjusted. For a later event, it gets preponed. Something like that. There's a lot of theories around it. But anyway, there must be some reason why it happened, even if they're all together. There must be some reason, because we know there'll be stories like, I was supposed to board that flight and the last minute something happened. I didn't reach the airport on time. I got held in a situation and I couldn't move. So I didn't board that flight. So many such, we have heard of so many people saying this. That means
I just want to interrupt this. I have another question. If, for example, I read a comment saying that the Titanic wreck itself is a graveyard, a sort of a graveyard site. But I also read in my biology book that the ocean floor has, has been taking into account a lot of history of mankind, from all the, fossil fuels. So fossil kind of materials and all that. Isn't the entire ocean floor having a lot of dead substance on it? Why only Titanic is having a major contribution to this type of negative energy?
Normally, human beings, the souls of human beings is something like a class apart. So when many human beings die at a particular point, they will have more to do with karma than, because we are told that animals don't have anything called karma. Okay. So if you're connecting karma, it is usually only human beings. So unlike other deaths, but moreover, if there is like a large number of something happening at one time, that is something very special. Okay. That's something very special. Large number. And then, of course, you can say, they say, every bit of the earth, there is a dead body, right? Because something to do with death must have happened. So not that. We are talking about like graveyard. like symmetry. So many numbers, and when many numbers, there is something bad about it. Okay, that's what.
In fact, that was one of the reasons why in the Mahabharata and other chronicles we have the warriors following the muhurtas and the rules of ethical warfare. They would not fight after sunset and all that.
Exactly.
Which itself is a indication of how strong a muhurta is as a factor in mundane events or man-made events, especially big, large-scale events.
Correct.
Otherwise, they say there's nothing fair in love and war. They could have easily gone on a rampage in the night and attacked.
Correct.
So all those things are there, and certain tithis they would avoid. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not very sure about it, but there were a lot of things given there in on when not to fight and all that.
Karthik comes up with the point that the flight 370, it was an Ashtami and it was a Saturday, and went missing on March 8th. 8th of March, it went missing. Thank you, Karthik, for that. Okay.
I had read a recent comment on the Titan saying that if the 5 millionaires were about to know that this tragic event could happen to them, they would have spent every single penny to just live for 1 second.
Yeah. So what the alternative to that statement is, if every rich person knows what he will gain, this is what the Buddha said. If every rich person knows what he will gain from giving, not one person would stop from giving. The Buddha had said that. Okay. So you make a slight alteration instead of saying that if only they came to know about it. And in Upanishads, it is mentioned that we all know anyway we have to exit. And when you know so much that you'll have to exit, and then your future is based on the good deeds of this birth, then how will you not help others? How will you not be kind to others? So these are all basically, you use money for selfish motives. You are not worried about, you could have spent this money. You're so rich and you could have done a lot of things, right? Look at the collections that is happening in our charity groups. 800 rupees, 8,000 rupees, something like this. Then again, they're making. So a very small group of people are able to do so much contribution. What if the whole world knows the power of Saturn, or that when you don't miss this opportunity? Now you made a valid statement. If only they came, did they know it? Had they known this, they would have spent everything to save themselves, right? But there is a larger something. There's a larger danger in our future. That how are we going to be born? In the next birth, are we going to be born physically challenged? Am I not going to have a leg or a hand or eyesight, or am I going to be deaf? Am I going to have a congenital heart disease? And then at that time, you can say, if only I had known this, I would have donated as much as possible to the suffering. And I would have prayed to God a lot. I would have gone into bhakti and a combination of prayer and, donations. See, look at this. When they say something like 370 flight, immediately people are contributing and saying, okay, see, this is a Saturday, this is an Ashtami, and so on. And today is an Ashtami, today is a Monday, the moon mixing up with 26. How are we compelled to do this? And finally, where is it ending? It is a warning for all of us that we better keep some time apart for the suffering and especially the laborer class. Okay? The poor people. Okay?
Actually, I wanted to add one thing. James Cameron had told that he had taken this Titanic movie as a reminder of how mankind can make grave mistakes and learn about those mistakes. It is not something that the public can actually go and witness the Titanic wreck, but rather as a warning on how things can go wrong with nature. That's what I read.
Okay, very nice. Okay.
So that was, and he was telling that how he wasn't informed and how unbelievably the news was kept away from him, and then he could not do any kind of warning to them. and how they actually tried manipulating the safety measures and they didn't get certified. They did everything they can to avoid, saving themselves. So,
Okay. So you are saying, had they consulted the one who manufactured this vehicle, if they had consulted James Cameron, there are chances that he would have warned them that this is not going to work. All that, right? Okay.
yeah, but there is a theory going on that the US Maritime Association actually knew that the sub was not as effective as all these 5 billionaires thought, and they did nothing to help them. So I don't know if there is a political vendetta, attached to this.
Okay.
And
Anyway.
I just want to ask this question. All the 5 people were very obsessed with the Titanic, which means they were actually quite emotional as far as the Titanic.
Can I say a point regarding this one? He has Saturn and Moon together, the CEO of the Ocean Gate, and he's in Sadisati.
How do you know
Moon
that?
effect on the for Sadisati we can have just date of birth, right, sir?
Okay. Oh, you got the date of birth and you found that this guy is going through Sadesati.
Sadisati, and
Where is
the
the
moon
moon?
effect on it is in Shravana, sir, and Saturn is also in the Shravana. It's together in the chart. Yes.
Oh, so much is water, because Shravana is water, right? Moon star.
Yes.
Okay.
Moon is at 21 degrees and Saturn is at 16 degrees Capricorn.
Lot of things coming up. Okay.
So which means all the 5 would have some connection with the weak moon.
Yeah, it may be the same thing. Yeah, moon might be badly placed in at least 6 and 8 house. Okay, because 6 and 8 alone says Bhrigu says danger in water. There might be some other reasons also, something to do with Dasha and Antardasha. Possible.
Is there a thin connection between moon and Saturn?
Moon and Saturn only is Sadesati. Whenever moon has any relation to, because moon is worry and danger, death and so on, and moon is the mind, and so it is so much connected. All the sorrow, somebody typed sorrow, right? So these are things connected to, all the negative things are usually moon-Saturn connection. And Sadesati is actually a moon-Saturn connection. When Saturn reaches the moon, it is called Sadesati, beginning. One sign before, over Saturn, and next sign is what is called the notorious famous 7.5 year Saturn. So some people have Saturn and moon together. If they're very spiritual, they escape. Otherwise, there will be so much sorrow in their life. Okay.
So actually,
and he must be in the Saturn Mahadasha, sir. He must be in Saturn Mahadasha or end of.
Possible. If you're born in moon, and if you are somewhere around your 50s, you must be in Saturn Mahadasha. That's a general way of looking at it. Once you cross 50 years, so somewhere around that time, your Saturn Mahadasha will begin. Okay.
I have a question for Deepika ji. Yes, Deepika ji. So you are not actually in astrology as a student, but from outside. I understand, because I had a discussion with you.
It's very difficult for me when
my question is based on today's discussion, where I showed about this Mrityubhaga and all that.
Correct.
Did it actually? From a scientific point of view, from a technical scientific point of view, not even coming into astrology.
Correct.
Did it actually trigger your curiosity about the probability of 3 Mrityubhagas in a chart going into, 1 in a million or something, or 1 in a lakh, even that, and then coinciding with the event? Does it create a ripple in your mind that, okay, there is something that I need to focus on, at least scientifically, not about mythology or spiritual and all that, not even spiritual, not even mythological, not even those things,
correct.
But in a way, like for example, quantum physics or scientific, with that theory in mind, or with that bent of mind, do you think that you can approach astrology and then take it up as a challenge to do research? Coming from outside astrology,
to tell the real fact, I'm obsessed with science, and while I was collecting research data for Titanic, I was wondering how everything is related to astrology, And each time I have to think scientifically, and another side I have to think in astrological way. So it is quite difficult for me. But finally, I understood they have a strong connection. Each and every scientific thing is actually linked to astrology. And what doubt you had, the same doubt even I had, but I didn't know how to put it across.
Okay, so that means now you are actually looking at astrology from a scientific perspective and wanting to master it,
Sir,
at least from the scientific point of view.
Yeah, I want the scientific data. Without the scientific data, I cannot argue in astrology. I want the data first.
Okay,
So from
for
there,
that
I
you'll
will
have to
start.
join BG and R6, I guess.
I might, but I'm more interested in collecting data, researching, making a nice PPT,
Okay.
create my stuff, create for others to know, and finding unusual things and debating on that. All that I like, really I like.
Good.
And,
But I don't know if you people talk astrology at home, because otherwise then Guruji would be showing you lots of charts and
Actually,
events happening.
the main reason for this entire PPT that I've done, each day I used to come and tell him all the facts that were that I collected and how it related to Saturn and number 8. And then he suddenly told me, "Why can't you put everything in a PPT and just explain whatever you found?" And when I collected the PPT only, I found out that I had so much of data to share. I didn't know that I had collected so much.
So isn't that coincidence?
Yeah, maybe today's
Wonderful.
date.
Huge coincidence. Yeah. But this is happening with Guruji on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
See,
I
the thing
always
is,
share my stuff.
I mean, he may not be talking about this at home. I'm not sure about it, but these things happen in class so often that sometimes I suspect that for Guruji now, this has become a normal mundane event. You bring a chart, you say there is some problem, he sees in the chart, yes, there is a problem.
Sir, like how we started off with scientific data and ended in astrology, the same thing in my house. I'll come up with some random facts, and that will lead to astrology. All roads are leading to astrology nowadays, I think.
Wonderful.
So
we are seeing a future Pandit Guruji.
Thank you,
I
Kishorji,
think I'm going near.
motivating her. Now that Gautam is in office, she's having a lot more opportunities to interact with him and pick up a lot of astrology. Okay.
Yes,
No,
in fact, that was in the back of my mind.
Gautam actually, runs when he sees me because he says, I think too much, I overthink. So
we need thinkers like you, Deepika ji. So welcome aboard.
Sometimes I can't stop my thinking. I'll start writing whatever I'm thinking. So
maybe Saturn is aspecting Moon. I don't know. Guruji only
I don't
can
know.
see.
I don't know. I don't know. Really, I don't know. But anyway, I want to give a better PPT, sir. You won't believe me. I'm still not satisfied with the data I've got.
I think we could have done a joint venture.
Yeah, no problem. We can
We'll do it
collect
once.
as many
We'll do
data.
once. In fact, I have one running right now, so I will share it with you with Guruji's permission.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
No problem.
in the upcoming weeks, once it is polished properly, I'm
Yeah.
planning to put it up as
Sir, you
a
should know that
presentation.
I'm a beginner. I'm a real beginner in astrology.
Don't
But
worry,
science,
me and Gautam will make a good job.
Yeah, in science, I think I can get my facts straight. So,
Okay, let's see.
so
Yeah.
Okay.
that's nice.
Good. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Kishorji, everyone. Such a short notice. So many of you have joined. Jayashree Alagappan came last, I think, but I'll be putting up the video so you can see it from the scratch, from the beginning. Okay. Bye for until we reach up, catch up again. Thanks, Alina, for sharing details.
Now it's 17 people.
Yeah, now it's reduced to 17 people. Okay, that means this is the time to quit. Okay.
Sir, I want to add one more point, sir. Titan is one of the biggest moons of Saturn.
Biggest, yeah, correct.
Oh, it's a child of Saturn.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Guruji.
Bye, Gautam.
Thank you, Guruji.